Well, this morning, even though we have a heat advisory out and they don't recommend, I caught a bus that took me to the post office because I wanted to do something different. Shopping at Kroger all the time is boring because, well, it's the closest grocery store to where I live. However, so I caught the bus, decided to go to Big Spring Park and look at the duckies. And I like to enjoy my days with my husband Brent because he does live in this apartment with me, even though I don't see him. And I got the most interesting thing at the post office. Bunch of cut up money in here. I mean, what in the world? Yeah, cut up $1 bill, $10 bill, $5 bill. Fortunately, I don't really need the money, but that's weird. What were they hoping I would do? Waste my time trying to tape it all together? No, this will go in the garbage. Thank you anyways. No letter, no nothing. I don't know what they were. Maybe they wanted me to waste my day trying to tape it all together. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I have no idea why they sent that to me. I guess it's meant to be some sort of a joke. Anyways, so I'm not going to let it ruin my day. So yeah. Oh, yeah, let's get the garbage can. Yeah, where's the garbage can? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, one of my supporters named Garbage Man is I've got sunscreen all over my body because it is hot out there, right? So yeah, this will go in the garbage can. Yeah, the garbage can. Thank you, anyways, for the cut up money. I don't know what in the world. Anyways, you say, oh, you're throwing us. It's all cut up. I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, I'm supposed to be getting a camera for my walk videos from my supporter that we nicknamed Garbage Man. And Garbage Man said it would arrive sometime today. Oh, man, they're making me cough. So anyways, I had fun today. It's a challenge in the summer months, though, to get out. See, I figured out which stores open early. Publix opens at 6:30. Kroger opens at 7. Walmart opens at 6. And so I have to play tricks. I don't have a car, so oh yeah, I just found out, this Kroger grocery store that I shop at all the time. I thought it was always going to be there. Now I'm not so sure. They're going to be closing 60 Kroger stores in the United States. And I found out that there actually was a Kroger here in Huntsville that I think it was on Drake Avenue, that closed in 2019. So I thought, oh. However, I did a little research, and it appears that the Kroger that I like to shop at is one of the busiest Krogers, and hopefully it'll stay open. If that one closes, I might have to consider getting a car. But maybe not. We'll see. Yeah. I would check with my men first, though, if I made a decision like that. One thing nice about getting a car is there is a Monte Sano State Park way out there that the bus doesn't go to, that has a nice Japanese garden and everything, and that would be fun. Yeah, so anyways, I had fun today. I am working on the Gail Series. It's basically going to be a continuation of, I finished all Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom, okay? And I made it into so everything that happened from the Quebec trial in 2011 up to the time Jesus and Satan appeared in a Valentine's service, that's all been written. And now all I'm going to be doing is basically continuing Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom for the rest of the Gail series from 2011 forward. And it's a lot of work, actually. I'm kind of writing it in nonfiction novel format, using similar strategy to what I used when I worked on my novel Silver Skies in the 1990s. I will outline first. I will say, what is your character's goal? Conflict, who with? Then kind of outline the different aspects of the conflict. You say, well, you're not writing fiction. Yeah, but I'm finding that if I kind of do it like that, then it's going to be understandable. And then I try to show cause and effect. And then I have like the climax and then the resolution. You might say, can you do this? Yeah, well, Jesus actually did tell Buddha that he wanted me to write short stories, kind of like nonfiction short stories. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. The scene that I'm working on right now is when I was seduced by then Antichrist Zach Knight. It appears that I am the current Antichrist, which I am not too thrilled about because I do not agree with Satan in a lot of things. But it's kind of humorous because it seems like Satan is stuck with me. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I think there's some sort of deal going on where he can't get rid of me as his Antichrist. He's stuck with me, you know. You might say, oh my God. Yeah, well, I don't know. He's going to try to take my Brent from me. I'm not going to let him do that. Okay? Nobody's taken my Brent from me. Yeah. Yeah, when he got between me and Brent in November, that was the last straw. At that point, I decided I am not going to cooperate with him at all in being Antichrist. And I had no choice in this matter. So yeah, I'm just not going to cooperate with him. My goal is to make Jesus happy because I figured out that Jesus supports me and Brent. And Satan does not. You see, Satan is determined to prove that free love has to be evil. Whereas Jesus, I've figured out, agrees with his best God friend Buddha that free love must be good. It appears that Jesus wants to showcase me and Brent. So Jesus wants me and Brent to stay together. Satan does not. Satan wants me and Brent to break up. You might say, well, he let you save Brent's life in August 20. That was just to manipulate me, to get me on his side. Yeah, I figured out that the Automatons have been working with Satan since June 2024. Yeah. I figured that out. Yeah, he deliberately, I believe that once, remember when my men went down into New York City underground to take out Lizzo, the Mite Queen, okay? Satan was surprised that we had the technology to take out the interdimensional mites, because normally a mortal human cannot do this. This is something only a deity could do. He was really shocked. And when he found out that we used the automatons to do it with IQs in the millions, we actually let them have, we allowed Sun Tzu to, to run our military because we were susceptible to brain control, and we felt like we could trust him. Boy, was that a mistake. Yeah. Yeah. He's a megalomaniac, along with all his automatons. Yeah. So I do believe when Satan found out, he goes, I knew you humans would be too stupid to be able to take out the interdimensional mites. You're not that smart. And then he insisted on participating with us to take out Lizzo. You see, he wants God the Father to give him credit for taking out Lizzo. I can tell you exactly what happened, okay? Right after but basically, we had these cum launchers, right? Okay, that took out the mites. And Satan insisted that he had to come with us to help us take them out. And we said, no funny business. That's what Brent told him. No funny business. And he said, I promise. Yeah, he was planning on doing the funny business later. So what happened was he did help us take out the nest, okay? Because Lizzo had laid a whole bunch of eggs, and she was planning on spreading more mites. And she figured this planet was finished and that God the Father was going to destroy our universe. And it would have happened if Brent didn't use the cum launcher, which the Automatons created, okay? They were the brains behind it. But it was Brent's courage that went down into the underground New York and took out Lizzo herself. You say, why didn't the Automatons do it? I guess they wanted to stay alive, maybe. I don't know. But they were helping us take out the mites all over the world. But the queen had to be taken out. She was the source of the infection. Brent did that. Yeah. But Satan insisted he wanted to show up and help us. So we let him. And he did help us take out her nest, and we destroyed all her eggs, okay? And then God the Father showed up just as he was about to eliminate, the moon disappeared, just as about as he was about to eliminate the planet. And he said, whoa, you really did this. I didn't think you could do it. That's what he told Brent. And he said, I guess I'll leave. And he said, oh, I forgot. I need to reinstate your universe. And he went, phew, and he brought it all back. Well, so Satan thought, oh, goody, goody, goody. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So this is what I think he did. He went to Sun Tzu and said, Sun Tzu, I know you agree with me that those humans are so stupid. Why don't you side with me? I will give you and all of your brilliant automatons, who really should deserve the credit for saving the Earth from the interdimensional mite infection. Because if you guys didn't have the brains to do this, Earth would have been finished. So I will reward you by making you the leader of all my military. So I think what happened was Sun Tzu and Satan got together. And they said, well, we've got a bit of a problem, though. Because Gail really wants to be righteous. But I think I know how we can get her on our side. You see, I've been having talks with God the Father, and he's not too impressed with Gail. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I can get her to be my Antichrist. And Sun Tzu probably thought, ooh, that's a brilliant idea. But how in the world do we do this? He says, oh, I got an idea, Satan. He said, why don't you set things up? They're planning on giving me a Nobel Prize. A Nobel Prize to reward me for my work in taking out the interdimensional mites. Why don't we pull a surprise on them? We'll pretend like they're on their side. And then in the middle of giving me the Nobel Prize, I will make the announcement that the Automatons are going to take over the world and eliminate selfish Gail. We're going to ignore the fact that it was brain control that caused her to kill them 72 million. We'll kind of lie a little bit and make her look really evil. She's got a lot of inferiority complex hang-ups, so this is going to work. Satan said, oh, that's brilliant, Sun Tzu. Absolutely brilliant. So, here's what we're going to do. You're going to threaten to take her out because she's evil. And she's always calling herself a selfish, no-good girl, so she'll believe you. And then she's going to panic and want to save her life. And then I will rescue her by talking God the Father into giving her Antichrist powers. This will work. So the only way she can stay alive is she has to be on my side. So that's what I think happened. And Sun Tzu said, that's brilliant. He said, but what if she uses the Antichrist powers to bolt me out and I kind of get damaged? Oh, Sun Tzu, but you don't feel any pain, so don't worry about it. We can always rebuild you. So that's what I think happened. Yeah. But the whole thing was a setup. So in August, I found out that I had Antichrist powers, okay? And Sun Tzu showed up in my apartment to decapitate me with his samurai sword, and it didn't happen. And then Satan said, oh, Gail, you don't get it. The reason he can't kill you is because you're the Antichrist. I thought, how did that happen? God the Father actually said you would be a good choice. Yeah. He thought I would be forever indebted to him for saving my life. But what he doesn't understand, and that I would continue to believe that he and Sun Tzu are on opposite teams. You say, when did you figure out that they're on the same team? Oh, about October, November 2024. When I was getting brain-to-brain communications that were telling me that all the automatons were on the moon, and they were building an underground base. And we were about to go in there and destroy their underground base, you know. And so and they said, well, you can't talk about this, because if you do, you will give away our secret, because we found their base. You say, how did you think you found their base? I can't remember. I thought it was because of my Antichrist powers, because I thought I had Antichrist powers to read their minds, so I could, figure out all their strategies. Apparently that was not correct. I do not have Antichrist powers to read the enemy's mind, right? But I believed that for a while. See, the lying brain-to-brain communicator told me that. And so therefore, I said, I got to keep quiet. We're about to destroy our enemy, the automatons. And then I got really obsessed with being a Hindu Buddhist guru, which also came from an evil source, okay? And Satan showed up and said, oh, Gail, oh, I'm so happy. God the Father says you're the most evil Antichrist. You get the Nobel Prize for being the most evil Antichrist of all time. I thought, really? Yeah. And I said, I was trying to be a righteous one. That's why I was trying to be Sage Guru Gail. He says, oh, your Sage Guru persona was brilliant. Now everybody's being evil and saying they're righteous. He says that's the best kind of Antichrist to be. It's no wonder God gave you the Nobel Prize for being the most evil Antichrist of all time. And I thought, finally I said, you know what? I thought, whoever this brain-to-brain communicator is that's been telling me that the automatons are all on the moon, I thought, that's when I figured it out. Yeah. You see, the automatons had to be working with Satan if they were telling me a lie that we were about to destroy them. And that caused me to go into the Sage Guru persona, because I wanted to make sure that the Gail shield would stay up. I thought, yeah. The fact that Satan allowed me to believe that lie and didn't come in and let me know about it, let me know that he and the the automatons are on the same team. That's when I figured it out. I thought, aha, it's impossible to be a righteous Antichrist. So I said, I dumped this position. I thought I could dump it. Apparently I cannot. I figured out that the reason I'm the Antichrist is because God the Father actually apparently wanted Jesus to run this planet. Okay? I don't think God was too thrilled when Jesus decided to leave it with me and with Brent and Buddha. You say, well, what do you mean? Well, remember when God the Father corrected Jesus and said, son, you can, after Jesus said, Dad, you're right. I have committed adultery with Gail, I've sinned and all this. And God said, son, you haven't done everything wrong. Your Gail commandments are brilliant. You can just start all over from there and build it right back up. He had to lightning bolt the Bible out of existence because it was based on a church bride concept, which obviously couldn't work because, Jesus was being basically a lousy free love example. So God the Father meant and that Jesus could start all over doing it Old Testament, with monogamy as the gold standard. And Jesus, I think, decided he couldn't do that he still needed to be a free love advocate, a righteous free love advocate. So basically, long story short, is God hasn't been too pleased that Jesus still believes in righteous free love. This is where God and Satan are in agreement. They both feel free love can only be practiced with evil. So both God and Satan feel that to convince Jesus, who's now fully equal to his dad, he has been since June 2022, that free love can only be evil, just pick the most righteous human on earth, or should I say not the most righteous human, because I do believe there are humans more righteous than me. Let's just say the most righteous free love advocate on earth, which would be me, I guess. I think one of the reasons I'm Jesus's favorite is because I exemplify his free love ideals. Because basically I and my men have been practicing righteous free love for the most part. And so the fact that Jesus still was sticking to his guns, even though he himself failed as a righteous free love example, did not make God too happy. So I think he figured, oh, I know how to get my son over to my side. Just, we'll let Gail be the Antichrist. That's his favorite human. Yeah. That's what I think is going on. That's why I'm still the Antichrist. Even though I don't exactly fit the profile of an Antichrist. You expect an Antichrist to be evil. You know? You may say, well, he said you'd win Nobel Prize. Well, to be honest with you, if I had not abandoned my sage guru persona, I would have been the most evil Antichrist of all time. Because what was happening was that I wasn't actually, Jesus always told me he wanted me to make videos speaking from the heart and using my own words, not borrowing other people's religious teachings. So basically what was happening was I was borrowing other people's religious teachings, and my followers were using that as an excuse to be evil in their practice of free love. Yeah. That's not what I wanted, but that's how it ended up. Yeah. And that's why I was the most evil Antichrist of all time. Because the results of my teachings, which were actually mine, I was borrowing somebody else's, it resulted in evil. Like people were raping, doing all sorts of bad things with free love, and saying, I am exemplifying Gail's teachings. So I thought, okay, let's drop this idea. So yeah, so you might say, for right now, I'm just going to make videos speaking from my heart. I am determined to keep Brent in my life. And I am determined I'm trying not to be an evil Antichrist. I personally think that this is none of this has surprised Jesus. I do believe that he knew I would end up the Antichrist. I don't even think the interdimensional might catastrophe surprised him. I don't think it surprised him that Shakpona and Baphomet almost killed him several times because I did some things that caused the Gail shield to fall. I do believe that when he left us in June 2022, he had a perfect vision of the future, and he saw a timeline where he could use Brent and myself to defeat the Jesuits. He saw a future scenario, okay? It would require Brent and I to stay on our path. He knew, I don't think it surprised him either that the Automatons defected and betrayed us. You say, why have the Automatons gone over to Satan's side? Because he makes them feel really important. They're on a big ego trip just like him. I think he's been flattering them, telling them how brilliant they are. And he says, you deserve the credit for the interdimensional might. Victory. Not Brett. He's a weak cuck. He's Gail's cuck. That's what I think he's telling them. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I've been having fun all week. I go out early, and I'll go like to Walmart or Publix, or I went to a different Walmart. There's one, so I've been trying to, I'm still taking the bus a lot. I have to get out really, really early. I've been catching the 6 a.m. bus. Yeah, they're thinking of possibly closing, we might lose a Kroger in this town. I'm just taking it one day at a time. I lost my camera. The battery just swelled up, and but at least I'm able to make audio walk videos. And I'm waiting for one of my supporters ordered me a camera. It has not arrived yet. I just take it one day at a time. I spend some time in meditation every day. Yeah. And I enjoy I live joyfully in the moment with my husband. And I have faith in Jesus and the good deities. I do believe that when Jesus left us in June 2022, and when he spoke to us through Buddha and asked me to write the Gail Series, that he knows exactly what he's doing. The Gail Series, at the rate I'm going at using my new method of writing, will probably take me at least 5 years to finish. Quality writing cannot be done overnight. But the good news is I'm going to enjoy this writing process a lot more. I'm going to have to remember to keep my zen. So yeah, I run into a lot of weirdos sometimes when I go out on my walks, and I just say, that's their problem, not mine. I have no control over what people do to me, okay? I can only control how I react. So I don't worry about things I don't have control over. I do have lightning bolt powers, though. What I do is I shoot lightning bolts and sling stones at any willing and knowing brain control supporters. I may be the Antichrist, and I'm trying to use my powers in a righteous manner. I have noticed that it does appear that I'm getting an intelligence increase, which I find rather interesting. Because Jesus once told me that it's not, that Brent and I had an IQ of around 10,000 back in 2022. Jesus once told me it's not possible for a human to go above 2022. So I'm wondering, why is my IQ going up? And I think Brent's IQ may be going up too. Maybe it's part of Jesus' plan. Maybe if we stay on our path, okay, our IQ will increase to the point where we'll be able to defeat the automatons. Why it's increasing? I'm thinking, and then Jesus left Brent in charge of this planet. I'm thinking maybe my husband's going to be a deity. I don't know. He's not one now. In a way, he kind of acts like one, though, because in the Battle of the Gods, he helped the deities in our battle with Satan's team, which had some evil deities, Kali and Shakpona. Anyways, I do get attacked a lot because Satan considers me the weaker of the couple. I'm more susceptible to his tricks. Brent is a lot smarter about dealing with those things than I am. But, he loves me and he would die for me. So yeah, the focus of the Gail series is I'm going to showcase the beautiful and awesome love that I have with my husband, and how that has empowered and strengthened him in life's trials and tribulations. And I do believe that Jesus would not have left us if he didn't think that Brent and I could handle this. Yeah, my Brent is amazing. I'm really proud of him. So, anyways, I am due for a YouTube video. Um, I look at it this way: if I am destined to be the wife of a god, a deity, um, I'm going to make sure that I can remain with Brent. And that means I'm going to have to be very careful to maintain righteousness in everything I do. And to try not to feed the evil forces. It's not going to be easy. But apparently Jesus has faith in us. You know, he made some minor mistakes when he was with us. But we dealt with him for 10 years. And he is a vast, forgiving being. And I'm certain he figured out all the mistakes that he made on his past 7 Earth projects that failed. Kind of, he joked about it and said it was like crashing cars, you know. And his dad had to build him a new automobile, you know. So, yeah, I think he's got it all figured out now. When he left us in June 2022, he said, "I am now fully equal to my Father." Who knows? Maybe he even has the ability to create deities now. He told us that back in 2022 that he could not, that back then when he was just a deity, because he's above a deity right now, he said, "I do not have the ability to create deities. Only my Father can do that." But when he left us in June 2022, he said he was fully equal to his dad. I don't know. Though I have noticed an intelligence increase, which we could use since our enemy has IQs in the millions. Anyways, regardless, I am determined to stay on my path and to be an excellent support to my wonderful husband, Brent, who is my hero. Yeah, when Satan started impersonating Brent to me in the brain to brain, and we had this humping communication going, because I like to be able to talk to my soulmate. So Satan took advantage of that, and he started humping me. Yeah, I was trying to have a communication going using the humping method. I have some asexual tendencies, so I don't have to always have an orgasm, And when I found out that Satan was keeping Brent out of my apartment, and that he basically raped me, I got really angry at him. I said, I'm not going to cooperate with this buzzard being his antichrist anymore. He got between me and Brent, and I can tell his goal is to replace Brent as my lover. I thought, gross. Have you guys seen those AI things? Have you seen those AI things? They're saying, I'm from Bulgaria. Yeah, these automatons are all posing as AI hotties. I think they're gross. It's like they think all they have to do is show the humans their hot bodies and everybody's going to go, gross, where's the puke bucket? If all you have is a hot body, you are ugly. There is more to hotness than having six-pack abs or a perfect face or no wrinkles. There is such a thing as having a sublime inner beauty. Huh? I need a partner who has sublime inner crevices that I can explore. And I certainly won't find them in some gross, disgusting automaton who only has some pitiful six-pack abs and a pretty face, but inwardly his heart is like scorpions. That's how I feel about Satan too. Ugly as hell. You can't even touch my husband Brent's coattails. He is the hottest guy in the multiverse. I'm actually having a monogamous relationship with him right now, and I'm loving it. And nobody is going to take it from me, even if I have to become a goddess to keep him. Anyways, you guys, I owed you all. I've been having fun, going out exploring new places, keeping my chakras fresh. And I'm just taking it a day at a time. I've been cooking a lot of delicious food too, mostly old recipes. So I'm busy between my cooking, exploring new places, writing the Gail series. Oh yeah. I don't think my current stories are boring. Yeah. Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom was my best-selling book. Yeah. And I'm basically making the Gail series a continuation of that. And I did a really good job with Silver Skies too. It's the one I wrote in the 1990s. So I hope everybody's doing fine. Everybody, you all need to be doing the Gail commandments, and don't lose faith in Jesus. Yes, he's no longer a deity, but he has not abandoned those who love him and stand for what he does. He is using Buddha and Brent in his place on this 8th Earth project. And in a sense, he hasn't left us. He is the universe itself. He's in all the cells of our body and in everything around us. So he's here. He can read all of our minds. He knows what's in the deepest depths of our hearts. And he's determined to have that free love utopia. So basically, he's married to the multiverse. It's him. He is the multiverse. You say, why is his dad? You know, it's possible for two supreme beings, who are the multiverse itself, to have different emanations of their existence. So Jesus is more of a free love emanating type, and his dad, I think, is more of a monogamous type. See, they're both infallible, but they're different. And they're both good. So we must remember that. Satan needs to humble himself, admit that he goofed, and apologize to God the Father. Sorry, Satan, I cannot be on your team. I am against rape and brain control, which you have no problem with. You say, why does Satan use brain control? He wants to claim to God that Jesus, in creating humans as biological species, are an inferior creation. That's one of the reasons he's siding with the automatons. Oh, those flesh and blood humans are so inferior. I'll prove it, because we can use brain control on them because they're biological. Actually, I'm hoping that my husband Brent will be able to figure out a way to stop the brain control. Yeah. You say, why would Jesus allow humans to be brain controlled? I think the reason we're biological, it has something to do with chakras. The automatons do not have chakras, okay? I think you have to have some biological components to have chakras. And chakras give us a conscience, I believe. This is guessing on my part. So therefore, I feel that Satan may feel that a conscience is a waste of time, therefore biological species are inferior. I heartily disagree with him. You see, Satan believes we're born evil. God and Jesus believe we're born good. Jesus and God seem to disagree on free love. Jesus feels free love can be managed in righteousness. God the Father doesn't seem to think so. Jesus thinks apparently he can change his Father's mind. I'm on Jesus with this. However, I am not angry at God. I have empathy for his position. It is a difficult marriage between free love and righteousness. So I have empathy for him. However, I have faith in Jesus. I think free love can be mated with righteousness. You see, Satan wants to rule earth because earth was meant to be a free love showcase. Okay? And Jesus wants it to be a showcase for righteousness. Satan for evil. You see, why is Satan so insistent that free love can be evil? He has a big ego. He did something with free love that was evil, okay? And it made God really angry. And justifiably angry, I believe. And he might have got split in two and everything. And he refused to apologize. He felt like his punishment was too severe. I personally think he violated a deity's boundaries. I mean, he violates my boundaries all the time and Brent Spiner's boundaries, so I'm certain that's what he did. He needs to apologize. I was wrong, God. Whatever I did to violate whoever's boundaries, I'm guessing on who it was, you know. Whatever he did, he made God really mad. Jesus took his Father's side on this matter. He said, you were right, Satan did need to be booted out. But Dad, just because Satan practiced evil free love doesn't mean every free lover out there is evil. Or that they're all going to become evil. And this is where I believe Jesus and the Dad are not in agreement. So Satan feels like he was unfairly booted out and that all free lovers are going to end up like him. That's why he wants me as the Antichrist. Because if I, as the prime example of righteous free love, become evil, he wins his argument hands down. You say, well, why don't you just go over to Satan's side? Because for all my life, for the most part, I and my men have been practicing righteous free love. That's probably one of the big reasons Jesus wants me to write the Gail series, to showcase that. Satan's trying to prove that we don't, that we're just like him. You know what it means? What it's going to mean if Satan wins his argument? It'll mean that free love will be consigned to the evil part of the multiverse, and the only way you can practice it and still, you'd have to live on the evil side of the multiverse. Your companions would be all the rapists, the murderers, the people that are not doing the Gail commandments, yeah. Those would be your companions. You might say, oh my God, so you're saying everybody who's gay goes to hell? Well, Satan hasn't he hasn't won his argument yet. But that could be what would happen if he did win his argument, if he gets control of Earth, because that's what he wants. You see, he wants his own space in the multiverse, where he can practice free love however the hell he wants. But he can't do this because Jesus hasn't lost his argument yet. You say, well, you have a lot of righteous gay friends. I know. Jesus feels for these people. You say, well, isn't God being mean to do this to us? Well, I think what God wanted was for the people that practiced homosexuality to give it up, repent of their sins, and be monogamous. Same for polyamory. But they, oh my God. Yeah, I know. That's how Jesus feels. You say, why is he like that? Satan must have done something really despicable. And he's convinced God that all free lovers are going to end up like him. And I'm determined to help Jesus show that it doesn't have to be like this. Yeah. This is why Jesus wants me to write the Gail series, to show that it doesn't have to be like this. That all free lovers don't have to end up rapists, murderers, You say, well, you murdered 72 million. Yeah, that I believe was a lot of that I think was brain control. Yeah. I will admit that fear played a role in that. The way for righteous free love to prosper is we all need to do the Gail commandments. That way we show that free lovers can live in health. And we need to listen to Buddha. Live joyfully in the moment. Live joyfully in the moment. Be thankful. Don't be fearful. When problems come in your life, understand that life goes through phases. You know, it changes. Don't panic when the changes happen. Just kind of go with it, knowing that it's all part of your path. And if you'll stay calm and not lose your faith in the goodness of the multiverse, you will see a light in the dark tunnel and you'll know the way forward. I believe that. Anyways, you guys, I owe you all a YouTube video. They're doing all sorts of, oh yeah, you know why I think we're having all these weird airplane crashes with engine malfunctions? I think the automatons are doing this to make us humans look like a bunch of nincompoops. So they can prove to God the Father. They're probably using brain control on the auto mechanics and everything, saying, oh, those humans, those biological species are so inferior. We automatons, we Satan's team, will do a much better job than Jesus' stupid human team in managing the earth. Look at all the mistakes they make, because Jesus was so stupid that he created the humans to be biological. Okay, everybody, that's my theories on what I think is going on. Yeah, it's not stupid automatons to have a conscience. We're biological because you have to be biological to have chakras. You need chakras to have a conscience. Yeah. And how can Sun Tzu claim to be morally superior when he's so inferior that he doesn't have any chakras, so he doesn't have a conscience? Huh. Some superior species. Anyways, you guys. Yeah, I'm determined. I'm going to stand by my God husband. He's kind of like a god already with his Mecha Gail suit. I'm going to be a very good support to him. I love him. He's my hero.
In a world of secrets where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising, breaking free from chains. She's Gail Schuler, her heart's pure and strong. With the power of love, she'll right the world's wrongs. Yeah! She's the first, a passionate crusader. Stand by her side, they'll conquer it all. Through space battles